Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I have a weapon review of the MG36. Since the most recent patch just a couple of days ago, DICE has made a couple of changes, so I wanted to go over it. I'm sure a bunch of you are curious to see if this weapon is now viable, so let's get started. So DICE didn't do anything to its damage model. It still does 25 damage up close, or 18.4 at its maximum range, which is pretty much standard for all of the assault rifles, or really any of the weapons in the game. But what they did do is reduced its vertical recoil. They didn't reduce it by much, but it was definitely a noticeable difference when I was playing with it. But probably the nicest thing that they changed was now that its short reload time, or if you have a bolt in the chamber, was reduced. So if you have a bolt in the chamber, it's going to take you 2.8 seconds to reload, down from 3, and if you've gone through all of your ammunition, it's going to take you 4.6 seconds to reload compared to 4.7. So not a lot of difference there for the long reload time, but it's still a nice change. DICE also went in and buffed the bipod attachment for the MG36, so if you enjoy using that attachment on your LMGs, then you're in luck because it's going to perform even better with this weapon. So that's all good news, but overall, these weren't sweeping changes. By no means am I saying that it's a bad thing, because all buffs are good if you enjoy that particular weapon, but I can't say that this is one of the better weapons for the LMG or the support class in general. It definitely is better than before. I remember using the MG36 before this patch. It felt very clumsy. It had a high RPM compared to all of the other light machine guns. Well, I guess it's the highest. There are other ones that comparable to it, but you know, it had a high RPM, which was good, but the recoil just felt unmanageable. It had a very high reload time, and it just didn't really fit a niche. You know, it didn't really have a specific situation where it excelled at. Now I would say that it is a lot more powerful, it does a lot better, but I still wouldn't say it's the best LMG out there, and I'll kind of go into some reasons why. So really the main reason why I don't feel like this weapon is one of the better ones out there is because it feels like it tries to compete with the M27 and the L86A2, but it doesn't rise to the occasion and meet their standards on the battlefield. I mean, they all three of them have the same RPM of 750, which is fantastic. It is the highest RPM you can get out of the light machine guns for the support class, so that's good. But the other two weapons, the L86A2 and the M27, both have a lot easier recoil to manage, and the reload times are a lot faster, and I mean a lot faster. The M27, if you have a bolt in the chamber, takes 1.9 seconds, and if you've gone through all of your magazine, it takes 2.5. So its long reload time is faster than the MG36 short reload time. So that is a huge difference right there. Really the only thing going for the MG36 is that it can hold more rounds in its magazine. It holds 51 bullets compared to the 46 for the LE6 and the M27. So I guess that is a slight advantage, which is nice. 5 bullets will save you in some situations. But in my opinion, I would much rather have a more manageable recoil and a faster reload time. I'm going to get way more out of the weapons, and I'm just going to be able to perform a lot better on the battlefield with a manageable recoil and faster reload time. It's just going to save me a lot more. That being said, though, the MG36 gets a lot more bang for its buck with the extended mags attachment. You're going to get 100 rounds in your magazine compared to the 61, I believe, for the other two weapons. So if you prefer a much larger magazine size, you kind of like it to enjoy to get a lot of rounds downrange, suppress the enemy, but you also kind of prefer a higher RPM weapon compared to the PKP or the M60, then the MG36 might be a more appealing weapon than I previously was stating. So those are the couple of reasons why I just feel like the MG36 doesn't rise to the occasion and meet the level of the M27 or the L86A2. It's still a very fun weapon to use, and I appreciate that DICE has buffed it a little bit and put it more in line with the other weapons, because before it really was pretty much trash. I did not like to use it at all. I avoided it like the plague, but now I could see myself using it, especially with the extended rounds magazine. So if you do want to use this weapon, there are a couple attachments that I would recommend. Like I said, the extended mags is a fantastic choice, but if you want to go for more long-range engagements, then the heavy barrel is also a perfect selection. It's going to make it a little bit harder to stay on target because it's going to increase your vertical recoil, but as long as you're good at burst firing, you're able to manage that recoil and you've mastered it, you shouldn't have much of a problem going for those medium to long-range targets, and it is definitely a solid choice. I really wouldn't recommend using the foregrip. It really doesn't have a lot of horizontal recoil, so I feel like if you do use the foregrip, it's just going to be a hindrance. It's going to reduce your accuracy at long range, or really it's just going to increase your bullet spread. So I would kind of stray away from using the foregrip. If you feel like you need to use it, then of course use it, but I just honestly feel like it's going to be more of a hindrance. If you want to be a little bit more hipfire crazy, then this weapon also excels with the laser sight. I mean, it is an LMG, so it's not going to be amazing like if you were using the MP7, but if you like to be up close and personal, which is something that the MG36 can do with the high RPM of 750, then the laser sight is also a awesome choice. If I was going to give you some overall advice for this weapon, I would say to play it a little bit more defensively than if you were playing as an assault class. Don't try to be all Rambo. Because you have a large magazine size, you can be passive, you can let enemies come to you, and that's also kind of a good thing if you're using a support weapon. I feel like a lot of people fall into the trap where they try to be all Rambo, like if they were playing an assault rifle, but because the LMGs just have a lot of bullet spread, they have a lot more recoil compared to those weapons. If you fight against someone toe-to-toe who's using the M416 or an assault rifle, you're gonna have a difficult time taking them out and living through that engagement. So I usually like to have the targets come to me or kind of flank my enemy and get a lot of bang for my buck with my high magazine size and spray a bunch of people down before they can even notice I'm there, and not really go for that Rambo role. If I would give one advice, is just to be a little bit more passive, a little bit more defensive when you're using this weapon, and you're probably going to get a lot more success and enjoyment out of the gun. But that's my review of the MG36. Let me know what you think of the recent changes to the weapon. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed the video or just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.